Hi, this is Rob Anspach, and I'm with Anspach Media. And today I have my co-author on my Optimize This book, Paul Douglas. And we're going to talk about kind of what we see as the state of the industry in web design, where it's going, and how companies are utilizing some of the new technologies to increase websites. So I'll let you lead into it, Paul, and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good. Um, things have changed so dramatically, over the last, well, I'm going to say the last 13 years since I had my first website built for my carpet cleaning business. Things have changed considerably, not only in the SEO, but also in websites and what makes them more effective. Um, I think one of the biggest things, and I know this has been a sore spot for you over the last few weeks, for people that are um, catching this recording later on, it's March 31st, 2015. I know we shouldn't really date these things because now when someone's going to listen to it a year from now, they're going to say, geez, this stuff is ancient history. So, however, April 21st, 2015, another date, I'm sorry, Rob, Google is making a change to their algorithm. They're giving people lots of time to prepare for that this time, which is really out of character for the giant. They usually like to surprise people and then have everybody scramble for months trying to figure out what it was they were trying to do. But April 21st, 2015, Google is you know what? I'm sorry, Rob. Something is playing in the background here. Uh, okay, I
That's
have to
that's the joy
apologize.
about technology.
Well, yes, it is. And that's the thing about technology. Technology hates you. There you are. Yeah, I had a window from your previous invite open. I guess I was getting my delay. So, anyways, going back to what I was saying, April 21st, Google is making a change. They're going to start giving preference in their algorithm to sites that are mobile optimized. Now, that can be a number of different things, but essentially, let's face the facts. Last year, there was 5 times more smartphones sold than there were laptops and desktop computers combined sold. And they're predicting that there's going to be 7 billion smartphones out in the world in the next 6 years or 5, 6 years. I mean, that's one smartphone for every person on the planet. Um, you're not going to have that kind of penetration with a laptop or a desktop. And as such, preference is going to being given to websites that are designed to work with a smartphone, not one of those pinch and squeeze things where you can expand something and shrink something. You need a responsive screen, for lack of better words, that reduces its size and trims itself down so that your content is still readable and streamable and just kind of streamlined in a vertical column down the page. Now, I realize for you, Rob, this is something a bit of consternation because you put all this time, energy, effort into making a beautiful site, and then you go and look at it on a cell phone, and everything is squished together.
Hmm.
um,
I'm not a big proponent of squishy sites that all look the same, but Google is saying that that's what people want.
well, it's not so much Google saying that. I think it's people saying, "Hey, I'm spending more time on my cell phone." I mean, I saw this happening 3 years ago with a client of ours. Both Lisa and I were actually sitting in on a meeting. He was a local car dealer, and someone had come in. They had their iPad with them. They saw a vehicle that he had advertised on their website. They came in, they looked at the vehicle, took it for a drive, they brought it back, they handed them the keys, said thank you very much. They jumped back in their vehicle, they were back on the iPad, and they were scrolling down looking for the next one to go to. Okay? People have gone mobile. and at, we need to cater to your customer. Now, if you're a business-to-business company, that may not be as big a thing for you because you're selling to business people during the day, during business hours. They're looking for you maybe to make an online purchase, but it's rare they're going to be pulling out their cell phone in the middle of the afternoon while they're at their desk to look you up. They're going to be on their computer. But if you're business to consumer, and I mean, we were talking about pizza restaurants before we started this recording. If I was a pizza restaurant owner right now, there's no way in hell would build a website unless it was mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure I had it mobile optimized, because I can guarantee you, if I'm not being found on my customer's cell phone, my competitor is.
Now, are there companies that are just building websites for mobile and not desktop?
Yes and no. Um, and again, I'm going to pick on a client of ours from 3 years ago. When Lisa and I first took them on, we built them a regular website, a regular desktop website that works great. But then at the same time, we also saw that mobile was getting very big. And that, because he was a business to consumer company, we figured the best thing I could do, and it was a shameless bribe to get the deal. I said, I will build you a mobile site. And at the time, getting something that was designed and built to be responsive wasn't as simple and easy to access as it is now. It was an actual plugin that we put in. We had to buy a subscription. It turned everything mobile for us. And we actually had to design a mobile layout for them. And we did that for a couple of customers. So yes, I'm sure there's a lot of companies out there that can go out and just build a straight mobile website for you. It is my opinion, though, is that why? What's really confusing is when you have these dual sites, there's a little button on the bottom. Do you want to see the regular site, or do you want the desktop site or the mobile site? I don't want to make that decision. Just give me the content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the downside with that. And that's why I really like the responsive themes with WordPress right now, because you can build a responsive site that will scale its size. I can have a 32-inch actually, I can put the website up on my 55-inch TV and look great. I can put it on my little 4-inch iPhone. It'll look great. Or actually, at least it's 4-inch iPhone. I can put it on any of my tablets or my desktop. It'll all look good because it's going to scale to the size of the screen. And pretty much all the screens now are going to have the same pixels. They're just about everything now is a 6:9 resolution. Whether it be a laptop that I'm working with right now, the TV I was talking about, even my Galaxy here is a 6:9 resolution. So with that said, I'd say just build for a 6:9 resolution and make it responsive, so it will expand to the size of the screen that you have.
So,
and it's really not a difficult thing to do now.
No, and we're talking about responsive websites, the new generation of WordPress. But what about all those people who have existing websites that are WordPress, but they're not responsive? I mean, will mobile components, plugins, will they work, or will they cause more harm than good?
It depends. With WordPress, if they have it up to date, if the theme developer has kept things up to date, it may now be, what they had before may have been upgraded to HTML5, and so that you can make it responsive. That's not always the case. You can pick up a mobile plugin for WordPress. The name of it escapes me right now, but I mean, it's just go to your best friend online called Google, and Google is my best friend online. If I need anything, I go to Google, and if Google doesn't have the answer, her sister YouTube does. And just look for a mobile WordPress mobile website plugin, and you'll find them. And there's lots of free plugins that will allow you to do that. Some do require a subscription, but it's usually very small. If you have a WordPress site and you want to hit that deadline, then that would be a very simple, easy resolution and something you can get done for maybe $30. You can also pick up a mobile responsive theme for WordPress and install that, and then just move your content over to a new theme. Now, maybe Rob, you can throw the link to the Profit Builder plugin on this video later, but the Profit Builder is one plugin and theme that I really like. I mean, $67, you can pretty much create anything you want, and it's all responsive. You've played with this, you know how it works. And
A little bit of a learning curve, but once you get it, you get it.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that I can build a page now, just a template or layout of a page that I've wireframed in a notebook, literally in a matter of minutes, and then just that's one thing that we're actually in the process of doing for one of our clients now. Again, we were talking about how it wasn't even his site that got we're gonna have to edit that.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, but as I mentioned, we have one client right now that someone that's on the server that he's sharing with his host got hacked with a spy bot and a Trojan, and because of that, he's been blacklisted by my local ISP. Everybody else can reach him. You could reach him. We could get him on our cell phones, but if we're on my ISP's network, he's blocked. You can't get to him. And so we're in the process of moving him over to a new host, and I'll be rebuilding everything on the Profit Builder plugin, because it allows me to custom build this for him very quickly, very simply, very easily, and it's just a matter of copy pasting his content in it, and he'll make that April 21st deadline as far as being mobile ready and responsive.
Mm-hmm. Now, for all those who are just jumping in, I'm in Pennsylvania. Paul's in Manitoba, which is up in Canada, and this is how we communicated for a long time. When we were coming up with concepts and ideas for our book, Optimize This, and so we recorded Google Hangouts just like this. We transcribed our thoughts and then took it to the next level and wrote the book. So it's technology just like this that is going to help you make money. And I hope to see concepts or technology like this as we can proceed down the road, where people can actually go onto their website and ask live questions to a person on the other end, and get their answers right away instead of these darn little chat boxes.
Yeah, and there's, again, if you're building a WordPress site, there is actually plugins out there where you can bring in a live video chat now, which is kind of cool. I've never used any, but I have seen them, and I've seen that they are available, and it's pretty cool. And there's actually a lot of plugins that actually use the power of Google Hangouts, which we're using here, that will allow you to interact with your customers one-on-one, face-to-face, and thousands of miles apart. I mean, as Rob said, I'm in sunny Manitoba. By the way, it's about 52 degrees today, and there's no snow left. What's it like in Pennsylvania?
Well, we have no snow.
And for those of you that don't know what I mean by Pennsylvania, that's that hillbilly mountainous area between Pittsburgh and Philly. It's made famous on the History Channel with the Amish Mafia.
We're at 52 degrees, so we're about the same. That's that Canadian humor.
Yeah, my dog wants to voice his opinion. So, what else would you like to know, Rob?
Well, I think that's pretty much it right now. I think that we need to keep the dialogue open, so when people have future questions, they can come to us, and we'll be glad to answer them. But let's do one last question. If I was designing a site from scratch, what are some of the elements that I need on this site to compel people to want to leave their information?
Well, short answer is content, content, and more content. The real big thing right now is all about the user experience when they come and visit your site. Kind of alluded to that a little bit when I was talking about some of the big changes in web design over the last 12, 13 years since my first website was built. People have a shorter attention. Well, maybe they've always had a short attention span, but they didn't have as many distractions before as they do now to uh, capitalize on that shorter attention span. Uh, but you have maybe 8 seconds to get someone's interest. And so the one thing you want to do is you want to make your site simple to follow or to grab their attention. You want it easy to use. You don't want to make them work any harder than they have to. One of the things that I make sure that's on every page of a website that we develop is a contact form on the sidebar of every page. Someone's reached a point where they've hit a buying decision or they want more information. The last thing I want them to do is look for contact us. I just want them to fill out that form and click a button and send. I want to be able to make sure that my phone number is big, large, and everywhere. So if someone wants to make a phone call, it's there. And if they want to click the call from their cell phone because I made sure it was mobile optimized, it's there. The other thing is you want to make sure that you build your site so it's kind of like structured like a silo. So many times I'll see a website built where you have your home page, then you have all the sub pages right below it, but there's nothing under those sub pages. And I like to build a silo structure to kind of lift up the value of those sub pages and then subsequently the home page. It's kind of an SEO thing that we've discussed before. And so that's another thing I think that, if someone was building a site, I'd say, let's plan out your sub pages. Now, I've come up with I shouldn't say come up with, I came across and I started utilizing a really cool Excel sheet that allows me to build out the structure first in Excel, with the page, the page name, the page title for the meta tags, the description, and even the keywords that I want to optimize for that page. And so, and even moving down to blog posts and such, so that we can build up the authority of the site. So the second thing I would definitely suggest is, besides ease of use and user experience, is plan it out and plan out your structure before you start building. I've always been a seat of the pants guy, and sometimes I'd get create some great work and get very lucky. And sometimes I would look at the site when I'm done and say, man, this is crap, and tear it all down and rebuild. So if you can plan out your structure and what it is you want it to do before you start building, you're going to save yourself a lot of time, energy, and effort. And the final thing is, before you start building, determine what it is you want your website to do. Do you want it to be a big, pretty brochure? Give your site some, give your company some branding and some status and establish yourself as a player in your industry. Then determine that before you start building. Do you want it to generate phone calls? Well, then determine that before you start building. If you want to create leads, then determine that. I guess that kind of ties in with the phone calls, but determine that before you start building. If you want your site to start selling for you and being a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week salesperson, then determine that before you start building. That way you're going to have congruence through the entire site, and it's all going to make sense.
Well, thank you, Paul, and I appreciate the time that you took. And I think that there were some great points shared. And whether or not that April 21st comes and goes, it becomes doom and gloom. People look back and say, "Yeah, it wasn't that bad." Time will tell. I mean, we have a couple weeks to find out. And but I do think that mobile is going to play more of a what's the word? It's going to play more into our future than we think. And as you can tell, the mobile devices are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, look, Well, I'm going to end it with this. I'm just going to take care of it. In my hands here, I have a computer now that has more power than what NASA used to send a man to the moon. I have more broadcast power in this phone than most television stations had 10 years ago. And because of networks like YouTube and Google Plus and even Apple iTunes, I have a far broader reach than most television networks had 10 years ago. This little device has, overthrown governments. I mean, look what happened in Egypt just a few years ago. So, and Libya, for that matter. Um, so, mobile is here to stay. Now, I'm kind of a little bit of a contrarian because I don't think anything that Google's ever done, whether it be, we talk about their smelly animals with Penguin and Panda and Farmer and everything else, but what I found is that every time that they've made these changes, these improvements to their search algorithm, um, our clients always moved up in the search rankings. So it's always been a good thing for our clients uh, because it's allowed high quality, relevant, pertinent content to percolate to the top of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I welcome any change or any improvement that Google makes to their search algorithm. And as far as this April 21st deadline for mobile, great, bring it on, because let's face it, as I said, there was 5 times more smartphones sold last year than there was desktops and laptops. We're a bit of an anomaly. Last year, Lisa and I, we bought 2 smartphones and 3 laptops, but
Mm-hmm.
and 2 tablets. But that was, a bit of an anomaly. The year before that, we didn't buy either. The year before that, we both bought smartphones. The year before that, I had a smartphone and a laptop. Actually, 2 smartphones, 2 laptops. But if you look back historically, most people will change their phones maybe every 1 or 2 years. I know you just upgraded your phones not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's just a trend that's going to stay. Every year Samsung and Apple come out with something newer, bigger, better, badder. And so my S5 is now obsolete. Got to get the S6. Well, I don't, but that's the trend. When new release comes out, let's get rid of our 1-year-old obsolete phone and get a new one. So I don't see what happens in the next 3 weeks being a bad thing. I see that as being a good thing for someone who's ready to capitalize on that opportunity and position themselves in front of their mobile customers. If you don't wish to put yourself in that position, well, then your competition that does will be stealing all your customers from you.
Mm-hmm.
So, choice is yours. But like I said, I don't see April 21st being a bad thing. I see it as being an opportunity for businesses to connect that more readily with their customers and increase their sales. So embrace it. It's here. It's coming. And it's only going to get better.
Well, thank you, and let's hope that it's not as bad as they say. But because I remember Y2K was so blown out of proportion, and billions of dollars were wasted, and nothing happened. And I'm hoping that this isn't, but you know, I- this is the first time I think Google has actually warned people before attempting to make changes.
Yep. And I mean, it's really not that much of a change. I mean, 3 years ago, I was asked a similar question: is that if I had a .mobi domain name, would that give me a higher ranking in search than a .com? I said, well, maybe on a mobile search, but not necessarily on a desktop search. And that's the same thing with the algorithm that's coming. If I'm looking for something on my desktop, I'm not going to be competing with somebody that's, because they've been optimized for mobile. But if someone is searching on their phone and I'm not optimized for mobile, well, then I will get hurt on the mobile search results, but not necessarily the desktop. And that's one thing that A lot of the doom and gloomers, if you will, and the chicken littles running around trying to get you to change is trying to tell you is that, if you don't switch to mobile optimization by April 21st, you're going to get buried. Well, no, you'll get buried on mobile search, but not desktop search. And if your clients are finding you now on desktop, that's not going to affect you. But if they're finding you on their phones, yes, it will. So again, it goes back to what I was saying. If you're business to consumer, definitely you want to be mobile. If you're business to business, you're 9 to 5, and people are looking for you from their offices, I don't see it being a big deal, unless someone's looking for you on LinkedIn on their phone. But, that's my 2 cents. I could be right, I could be wrong. But I personally think that if you're in business today, your customers are looking for you on phones. I use the phone probably as much as I use my laptop. And when I kill the battery on the phone, I use my tablet just as much. So, why not embrace the mobile revolution? Because that's exactly what it is making change in how information and content is being delivered to us now. And if you don't embrace it, you'll be buried by those that do.
Well, and I think Google is also going into a a means to make websites more trustworthy. So, their algorithm, their new algorithm, is going to be based on how relevant and how trustworthy they deem your site to be. Is it filled with a lot of spammy, affiliate links outbound, or does it provide you with a great user experience?
Yeah, and I mean, big thing is it's all about the user experience right now. Are they leaving your site happy? Do they get their needs met? Are they being confused by your layout? You know, uh, Yesterday, for example, Lisa and I were just reviewing a number of different blogs in the industry that she's wanting to build her own blog on right now. And just determining what she likes, what you don't like, what appeals to you, and all these websites that came up that are cluttered with ads and coupons and banners and everything else, they were really busy, and it just turned her right off. And I know it kind of goes against the marketing concept that you're not your own customer, but you have to realize that you're going to be focusing on people who's your ideal customer, and you tend to, think along the same wavelength. So what doesn't appeal to you will probably not appeal to your ideal customer.
Mm-hmm.
So focus on the user experience. Make it easy for them to do business with you. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Right. Well, thank you again. And if anybody has any questions while looking at this video, please post them, and Paul
Yeah.
and I will follow up.
Or better yet, Rob, you know what? Put a card on this video so
Mm-hmm.
that they can direct them to an Ask Paul and Rob form on your website.
That's right. That's a good one.
Yeah, say that's one of the other changes that's really good to embrace.
See, all the
Because that
smart
card will
people.
allow people who's watching this on their cell phone to actually connect with us, where the annotations they can't do that. And yes, I'll help you with that later.
There you go. See, you can always trust a Canadian for your websites. There you go.
I always trust a Canadian to give an American a hard time. Anyways,
This is the beauty of Hangouts, because they're real, they're live, they're raw. Sometimes you get us on a good day. Sometimes you just get us on a fun track. So,
yeah, and
if you're watching this, Paul and I don't take everything that we do serious. It's fun and games until someone gets their eyes poked out, and then we just laugh even farther. So we have a good time at what we do, and I think that is the secret to everyone who's an entrepreneur. Just have fun at what you do. Your website's supposed to be out there making you money, but everything that you do should have some element of fun to it.
absolutely. You know what? Life's too short to hate what you're doing. Have fun with what you're doing, and you'll never work a day in your life. It's advice I was given 30 years ago. I follow to this day, and I try to have fun every single day as much as I can. And yeah, if that means I try to poke your eyes out from 2,000 miles away, sure, why not? Anyways, Rob, it's been fun. I know you've got other things to do. Got another call coming in right now too. So,
All right.
anything you need me to add as a final last word? Yeah,
No.
I do. I have one last word. You need a website done. You need to get mobile optimized. Contact Rob at Anspach Media. We'll get you guys taken care of.
All right. Thank you. See ya.